Uh, Welcome to a very special series of episodes of Can't Stop the Pop and also CCTV, the Nonstop Pop Show, where we are pitting Steps versus S Club on a single by single basis.
Okay, so here's how it works. Before the show, all the singles were paired chronologically. This is so boring. But anyway, we need rules. We need rules for this very special format.
We need rules.
So starting with each act's debut and moving forward. So because S Club 7 had fewer singles than Steps, we've also used the S Club Juniors to help make up the numbers and create 20 rounds. So over the next few episodes, we're going to discuss how we voted at each round and ultimately find out which act came out on top.
Yeah.
So the panel for this expert and completely non-scientific pop-off is me, Matty.
And me, Craig, from Can't Stop the Pop.
From Can't Stop the Pop, and also Chantel and Chris from CCTV. Introduce yourself, guys.
That's Chris.
That's Chantel.
And we're CCTV, the Nonstop Pop Show.
Whoop, whoop. It's honestly, it's a real pleasure to get to do a pop off with you. Like, this is so exciting.
Yes.
We've rarely deviated from our format, except in a couple of TikToks. We're pretty we're pretty strict. So so welcome. Thank you for the chaos.
Yes, we're the opposite. We love chaos.
Yes.
So we're here to switch things up. Yes.
I love this. I'm getting real Daphne and Celeste energy from this.
Daphne Celeste. Yes, and we're just as catchy and just as fun. Okay, yes. I mean, we talk about K-pop and Western pop, so we definitely have a lot of interesting fans coming in and out. So we're used to the whole, what? You don't like that? You don't like that song? But I love this song. So we're used to the fandoms kind of being a little bit upset, but we're ready for it. We call this kind of format pop off on our show. So it'd be nice to have you two as well. Like I mentioned earlier before we started, it's gonna be so much fun to have this big battle of the co-ed groups.
I know. It's like especially for like us UK born in the 80s or 90s kids, like it's just Steps and S Club 7 / S Club Juniors 8 were like how we all grew up. So I just think this is so exciting. And as you can see by my t-shirt and all of the memorabilia behind me, it's just gonna do that. I'm usually Camp Steps, but there was a couple of things that were like, it's like choosing between your children. Like what do you do? Like
valid.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because for us too, obviously we're both in America. And so we have a very different, I think, experience with both of these groups. Like, I think, Chantel, you didn't really know much about S Club Juniors before, right?
No, I knew about S Club because of the TV show. Like, there was a show called, a network called ABC Family here in America. So I knew about them. Yeah. You introduced me into Steps, and then you were like, there's some kid version of S Club. I'm like, what? There's children? And the Saturdays are part of it would turn into this whole thing.
I know.
And I was like, wow.
It's like, I forget sometimes genuinely that Frankie and Rochelle were in S Club Juniors. Like, I regularly, like, if they ever pop up, I'm like, that's Frankie from the Saturdays. What's going on? Yeah. Or Craig's favorite group ever, Frankie and Calvin from I Dream.
I Dream, which who sadly aren't in this pop off, which actually makes me really sad. But anyway.
It happens.
Right.
Next time.
let's get to it then. Right, Craig, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I've got my tablet and everything. I've taken this very seriously as the adjudicator. So, in this episode, we're going to do rounds 1 through 5. Okay, so the first 5 singles from each act. So we're going to kick off with round 1, which was 5, 6, 7, 8 by Steps versus Bring It All Back from S Club 7. So the results, this was a bit of a landslide. No one voted for 5, 6, 7, 8. Does anyone have anything positive to say about 5, 6, 7, 8 whatsoever?
It gave us Steps.
Yes.
give it that.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and I don't know. Sorry, I'm already off on my tangent. Like, so I did vote for Bring It All Back, because it's a fantastic debut single. It's up there as probably one of the best debut singles by a pop group. But it's so manufactured to be that amazing debut, whereas 5678 was just manic chaos that was supposed to be a one single record deal, and then they essentially got picked up then by Jive and by Pete Waterman. So if it wasn't for that, then we wouldn't have had Steps. But Bring It All Back is better.
Yeah, it's the superior one. I like the Rednecks influence for sure. The little, where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? That whole thing. But I think overall, even if it wasn't supposed to be like that kind of single, it was a little juvenile, and it does nothing to display their vocals because they had a canon in Claire, and it was like, oh yeah, let Lee rap. Great, but come on, God, give her some vocals to sing.
Yeah,
I will say 5678 has given us some iconic moments, though. Like that one tour where they just had the dancers come out in those horrifying heads.
Oh,
the gold
and even
tour?
the newer,
Yes.
and even the newer Steve Anderson mixes, though, have been pretty great. So it's fun.
They've been brilliant. Like,
yes.
Okay, I feel like we're going to change our minds.
No.
Changing their votes.
No.
Okay, right. Let's talk about Bring It All Back then. Come on.
Like, I think Matty, you're completely right. They're the opposite of each other. You've got one is a novelty single, and one is a really slick. This was Simon Fuller after being sacked by the Spice Girls, coming back with a really slick package that was designed just to take them straight to the top. And I think it's a great song as well. It's probably one of my S Club favorites still.
Classic, absolutely. I think the whole Snowtown Records version of a Jackson 5 song, you can always hello, we love it. I call Motown Snowtown, like Backstreet and sing that Snowtown. If it sounds good and it sounds like R&B and it has the spirit of something and it's not Motown, and it just happens to be predominantly white, I do call it Snowtown. But this is a really good Snowtown song, I will say. It definitely wins because you can hear the vocals, even if Rachel and Tina and Hannah weren't the greatest vocalists, I could at least hear them. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was a little bit better in terms of displaying this is who the members are, and they're dancing on the beach. It's fun, it's cute, it was trendy. So I think overall as a package, like you mentioned, it was mint. It was good.
I mean, first off, Snowtown might be the best thing I have ever heard someone coin. That is amazing. Wow. Okay, I'm glad that is in my sphere now.
Feel free to use it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Like the video on the beach, the kind of the joyous pop vibe. It doesn't actually production-wise sound that dated either. When I would argue as we go through, there are a couple of S Club singles much later down the line that sound so dated now. Whereas this, it feels so of its time. And I love it. Like, what a great introduction to the TV show, to them as a group. Like, yeah, I think mic drop from all four of us there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Pretty undeniable song. Like, it's such a great example of a good bubblegum pop song from that era. And there are some great vocals there, too. Like, I love all the ad-libs from the boys. So.
Oh, yeah. Like, the whole, bring back that Paul does. And they did try and, introduce them very much as in, this is a band about 7 people. Did we mention that there's 7 of them? By the way, there's 7 of them. And it's like everything about the branding was, we're going to take what we did with the Spice Girls to brand, and we're going to put it to a mixed group, which 5678 just wasn't. Right.
Okay.
Next.
So on to round 2. Slightly different story here. So we've got Last Thing on My Mind versus S Club Party. I hope everyone can remember how they voted.
Yeah.
Because this is a 50-50 split.
Ooh.
So this is going to go to deadlock. Insert sound
deadlock.
effect. Insert sound effect.
Deadlock.
Okay,
so,
deadlock. Who voted? Who voted for Last Thing on My Mind?
That would be me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it. Freaking knew it.
100%.
Make your case. Make your case.
You go, Chris.
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, that hair washing move is better than any other dance move in S Club Party.
Yes.
But when talking about the song itself, I don't know. It's just such a great example of this melancholic kind of pop situation that Steps started doing, right? Like the lyrics are actually so sad and depressing, but the melody and the production and the Euro dance beat just makes it sound so joyful. And that combination makes it a very perfect pop song, in my opinion. S Club Party is catchy, but melodically, I don't think as strong as Last Thing on My Mind.
I think S Club Party is a fun song, but is an absolute example of over branding. It's like Bring It All Back was the perfect branding of the group, and S Club Party took it too far. Like the fact that it lines up. By the way, there's 7 of them, and we're going to name all of them. Whereas Last Thing on My Mind is such a good song, and people often pinpoint that One for Sorrow is the point in which that it worked for the group. I don't think it was. I think it's Last Thing on My Mind because it's got that melancholic thing that you said, Chris, which, to name drop, the Elephant in the Room group here, but which is what ABBA did. And in the video, they've got all the ABBA references with the faces, and it's that kind of like disco vibe, which is singing about sad stuff, but it's going to make you feel good, but in a sad way. I still listen to it a lot today. Yeah, it's so much better. So much better. What about you guys?
Hey, Chantal, what, make the case. Come on. Fight the corner here. Esther Party.
This is a terrible game that we're playing. I'm just going to say it now. We are playing such a mean game right now. I mean, okay, listen.
No, it's great.
It's tough because it's like, do I pick the Ghetto Boys and the Hoochie Mamas or do I wash my hair? Like I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I want to do here. It was so difficult because I got into Steps because of Chris. And I was like, oh, I like this. And it is iconic. It is. But for me, the crying and the clubness of it all, it moves me. Yes, it does. Yeah. But S Club moves me even more. I grew up with the song as a child, and then hearing it now, I get like this feeling like when you have a friend group and you're singing a song, everyone can have a part, you can enjoy, you can have your moments. And on top of that, every good pop group has an introductory song. NSYNC had it. Backstreet had it. Come on. Like it's self-referential songs in pop are like a staple. You need it. Okay. You need it. All right. And then hello, you have Hannah with her screaming out for more part. That part alone should be the reason why you picked it. You're out of your mind. Okay. But no, aside from that, it's so fun.
I echo it all. I mean, I don't have 6 other friends. I'll happily do all 7 parts myself.
I'm his only friend.
I know. Back and forth. I agree. I just think it's so like Last Thing on My Mind is good, but I think Steps did that better. Whereas I would argue that S Club 7 didn't necessarily do a song like S Club Party better than S Club Party. It's so catchy. Everyone knows it. It's the key change. We've got to talk about the key change.
Yeah.
That key change hits you around the face, takes you up into space, and you are just euphoric. Last Thing on My Mind doesn't have that, I'm afraid. You can wash your hair to it, fine. But S Club Party will wash your hair, it'll slam your head down, it'll get you up and going. I mean, it's just... And it's stuck with S Club. Like, everyone knows what an S Club Party is. Not everyone knows what a Last Thing on My Mind is.
My dad used to consistently say in random conversations when we were a kid, he'd go, well, boys, there ain't no party like an S Club Party. And then like walk out the room. But I just think as a song, Last Thing on My Mind is a better song than S Club Party is. Yes, S Club Party is one of the most iconic S Club songs, and I do think a lot of that is to do with people's nostalgia for that as you say, it was perfectly constructed to be like a big brash song that the kids would sing on the playground with their groups of friends. Whereas, like, last thing on my mind was a gay disco tune. That's it. But I feel like it's got more longevity as a song. And I think that's because a lot of
the lifestyle.
Come on. Hello. I wasn't saying that's cute, but that's cute.
It's a lifestyle.
It is. It is. You don't just listen to S Club Party, you live S Club Party. You are the S Club Party when that song is playing.
Hello. Okay.
Right. How are we gonna take this to deadlock? I mean, we've all made our case.
We might have to leave it to the fans. Might have to leave it to the fans.
We're gonna go to public vote. We're gonna go to a public vote. Where's Dermot O'Leary?
Really, if you want to save this club's party, let us know. If you want to toss "Last Thing on My Mind," please do. I love that song though, but I'm still standing strong on mine. 10 toes down. 10 toes down.
Okay. Craig, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna leave it, or are we gonna try
we're gonna have to leave it, and it's gonna have to be the fans that decide. We're gonna have to do public votes.
Yeah, we're gonna
leave a vote on the comment on the streaming bit, so you can type in there. If you're listening, you didn't see me do a really wonderful keyboard there, but it was really great.
It'd be great for them to participate.
Wonderful. Right.
Okay.
Next round, Craig.
So round 3, this was another bit of a landslide. No surprises here, I don't think. So One for Sorrow versus 2 in a Million. No one voted for 2 in a Million, so One for Sorrow just walked it. Why?
I mean, One for Sorrow is pretty hard to beat, honestly. It's almost a perfect pop song. The melody is so beautiful. Claire sounds amazing. We've got those amazing harmonies as well with Faye in the verses. Everything about it is just iconic. Like the music video, the dance routine, and that chorus you can sing along to from the second time it comes around, honestly. With 2 in a Million, I think it's fine. It's just not very memorable.
Agreed. I have the same reasons. I think because it is so deceptively sad, the 2 in a Million sentiment doesn't affect me as much. And besides, how can you not pick a song that pairs so well with "Can You Feel It" by the Jacksons? I mean, the fact that they were able to even interpolate that later on in tours, and you can kind of hear it as you're listening to the song back when it first was released. I thought that was impressive. Being able to mix concepts of an ABBA-esque group and then being able to put soul and funk kind of infused things there, that's been impressive to me. And also this song stands alone amazingly with a guitar or a piano. So that kind of made me go, oh man, I grew up with 2 in a Million, but One for Sorrow, I can sit here and sing a cappella and, can't nobody tell me nothing about it because the melody is that good. So yeah, same thing as Chris.
I mean, it's I think nostalgia for me, I remember this as Steps' proper breakthrough, when they really crossed over. And I really love it for the fact that briefly this was their biggest hit. And it's still one of their biggest selling hits. It's still one of their most well-known hits. And what I really love about it vocally is that it is, I know there are harmonies, but it is Claire. And there was all this thing about, Claire does all the vocals, but she doesn't actually ever do all the vocals in their songs. But here she does the one lead, and the song works because of that, because you feel that emotion through from the start to the finish. And so when she really belts out at the end, you feel it. And on top of everything else, that's what I really love about One for Sorrow. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
It's one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest British pop songs I think ever written.
Mm-hmm.
That's
agreed.
I think Pete Waterman, Stark Aitman and Waterman just nailed it in every way. And they had a brief of, we want to make a British version of ABBA on speed, which is the quote that they've sort of hated for years. But that's what they did. They took, musically, it is almost identical to The Winner Takes It All. There's quite a few mashups on YouTube if you haven't seen them. But it flips it into a higher key, and it also it all could be lower if any of the fans coming for me. But they flip it into a different key, and they also I say, don't cancel me. But what they also do is they add in the bridge and they add in the middle 8 section, and they've got the whole, the sort of Can You Feel It mashup that they created with it. When they do this live, this still stands up today. And this, as you say, it is Claire's song, but the harmonies are so apparent. It was the brief of what steps they wanted them to be, just nailed out of the park in a way that a debut like 5, 6, 7, 8 wasn't. Like, to come from 5, 6, 7, 8 to this in 3 songs, I think it was a testament to them as a group. It's amazing.
Amazing. There we go. But best British single by a group, get in the bin, the Beatles. There we go. Okay, let's move on to round 4.
I said one of. As the resident Scouser of this group, I'm never going to diss a song by the Beatles. Let's not make ridiculous statements like we did an episode about something. Was it Avril Lavigne? And you said, "I'm sorry, but Skater Boy is better than anything Queen ever wrote." and it was like
hot take.
It was like
that's a different pop off. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I think, just saying, Steps could do Hey Jude, but the Beatles could not do One for Sorrow. Right, round 4.
Ooh.
Okay. We've got.
I love that. It's so true.
We've got. This is quite a different one, actually. Heartbeat versus You're My Number One. And You're My Number One wins this.
Oh.
By 3 votes to 1. So I guess Matty might be the one who voted Heartbeat, but I don't know.
I did vote
Who voted
Heartbeat.
for Heartbeat?
Me.
Okay.
I did vote for Heartbeat.
Yeah.
Heartbeat's amazing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is that what
Sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
No, I think Heartbeat is a really versatile, beautiful pop song. And I think it shows evidently from the live version they did at the What the Future Holds tour, and then they did it at Brighton Pride, where they stripped it down to just a basic piano bit. You really are going to vote for You're My Number One. I'm going to put it out there and say, I think You're My Number One is probably S Club's naffest song. I think it does very little for me. I think that you can't put it next to like their greatest songs, whereas I think Heartbeat is just it's a beautiful song. I don't know what else to say. I've been outvoted, so I am the loser.
If it's more than 2, it must be you.
Okay, so Chris, why did you vote for You're My Number One?
Okay, so Heartbeat, as iconic as Lisa's bridges, right? The who is pretty amazing. And I agree with you. I also shouted out in my notes the latest version they've been performing, because that was beautiful. The way they had the heartbeat as the only backing at one point. Yeah, that was amazing to experience live. But You're My Number One. So we recently saw S Club when they came to the US, and You're My Number One was so much fun. Everyone screaming that chorus along. It's just a great sing-along moment of all these Motown-influenced songs, or Snowtown, as we're now calling it. This, I think, is actually one of the better ones. Like, I think the harmonies are really great here, and there's some great just backing vocal dynamics. The chorus just super catchy. And I actually do think it's up there for me, like in S Club's discography, actually.
Okay.
I had a similar sentiment because after we were at the concert and it came on, I was like, "Oh crap! I do know this song, and I like the way it makes me feel." I mean, they're both a little cheesy. I mean, one is like this R&B tinge tune with an SNL perfect winter themed video, and the other one is like
SNL themed. Kristen Wiig just in the corner singing. There's Frosty Tutor. just like
the green screen, the effects, you know, and then you have Snowtown Records 7 members playing in white liquids. Like, it was such a hard pick. I don't know why the videos are both equally strange as well. But you know, I think y'all know what I'm talking about with the white liquid. So I was like, okay,
it's a bit weird,
right? It's strange. But when I closed my eyes and I was like, which song am I singing right now? It was the You're My Number One. And Heartbeat, but now in its rendition now, slap it out the one, like, but right now, and thinking about back then, You're My Number One, it's just stronger for me. But Heartbeat at the time, I guess, it's a nice strong attempt, but now orchestrally it's just better. But you know, hey.
Okay. I'm going to give a little bit. I've cheated a little bit because I'm going to give a shout out to the fact that the version of You're My Number One that I really like is not the version they released. It's the version they used in Miami 7 or S Club 7 in Miami, which it's a demo version, but it's got extra vocals on it, which are really, really good. So Joe does all these extra ad libs and they lift the song so much. So I radio edit, whatever they called it, from Boyfriends and Birthdays. It's okay. But the demo version with the extra vocals, amazing.
Oh,
that's what that was it for me.
I love these deep cuts from. We've spoken about this before about all of the S Club like one-off movies. Like, it was Boyfriends and Birthdays. Was it back to the 50s? Was it 50s or 60s? What was
50s. We got it wrong.
50s. Okay,
we said 60s.
We got it
it's
wrong.
Back to the 50s. Yeah.
Sorry, fans. Don't cancel us. Don't cancel.
Oh.
I'm okay. Well, I got outvoted, so bye. Right.
I must just say, so I know, right, the Heartbeat, the garage remix that they did for the Gold Tour, that is one of the most bizarre things Steps have ever done that I've ever, like, still. It's so bizarre.
They tried.
I'd forgotten about that. Is it the Simon Hart mix? Or...
It's so weird.
Yeah. I could be wrong there. But
it goes, check it out, a rock and it's so bizarre.
Get it? Oh,
so
like
bizarre.
this. Oh, yeah. And it's just like, guys, no. This is an excuse to give Lee another rap.
Yeah.
It's... The thing is, I get it, what they were trying to do for that tour in terms of the set list, but it's no surprise that they've never up-tempo remixed Heartbeat since.
Right.
It's always been done down tempo
for that reason. Okay, so that was my little rap. There. I don't sing on the podcast because I can't sing. I can't even speak in tune, apparently. So, final round of this episode. We've got, I would possibly argue, are two of the most definitive S Club and Steps songs. So we've got Tragedy versus Reach, and it's another split.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Well, everyone's surprised about that.
One's obviously
so. I'll kick off and say why I voted for Reach, and it was simply because I never ever want to hear Tragedy again in my life because I've heard it so many times.
Ooh.
I just could, if I never heard it again, if Steps never performed it again, it wouldn't bother me because they've done it to death. So that's why I voted for Reach. That's full disclosure.
I'm going to say this is very much here showing the difference of the UK to America, because in the UK, what you have to understand is, as a Steps fan, and like a real Steps fan,
yeah, we can tell.
Tragedy is no one's favorite Steps song. But like, it's no one's favorite Steps song. It's their biggest selling song. It's their, one of their most iconic ones. But they didn't even put it as the lead single on the Platinum Collection recently for a good reason, because they wanted to focus on their original material. Whereas as a cover version, it works brilliantly. It's got fantastic vocals from the girls. It is a great example of a cover. Whereas, like, it's just so overplayed. It's just like a wedding song or like a school disco song.
Family parties. It's when everyone gets up. It's stuck in there with like the Macarena, and
Saturday
sometimes 5, 6,
night.
7, 8, Saturday night, and then you go into Tragedy, and it's like it's just the most horrendous sight. I'm traumatized by the amount of family discos I've seen.
Whereas Reach, I think is, I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to say is in the UK is probably S Club's most loved song. I think if you did a poll, I'd say Reach would be, because it is, yes, Don't Stop Moving is their biggest, like, was it their biggest seller? But it's probably their biggest number one iconic song. But like Reach is what people remember S Club for. That is the one that if it does come out on a night out or in a pop night, that people go like, yeah, I love this song. Like, it just builds brilliantly. It's so well constructed. Yeah. This is great, right? You guys go, because we had a lot to say.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so yes, that's very interesting. Because neither of us, I don't think, have ever heard Tragedy out at a public outing like that.
No.
So we do not have the overplayed idea with it. So also, just for some context, I moved to Hong Kong like summer of '99, and Steps were huge there. And so this song was really high up in the pop charts at the time, and was one of my kind of introduction songs into British pop at the time. So I do have a soft spot for it because of that. Like, it was actually kind of a formative memory for me to like hear the song. But yeah, I actually knew the Bee Gees version because my dad like loves the Bee Gees. So that was also part of it too, where I was excited to hear this new kind of pop version of Tragedy as well. So I kind of already kind of have a lot of this just like love for Tragedy itself as a song. But I think the production is awesome. I think the interpretation is so good. The dance routine I will remember till the day I die. And at the Steps concerts that I have gone to, I think it makes a great finale. I know they've had conversations about like maybe this shouldn't be our last song of the show, but I think it does such a good job of being the climax because it's just so dramatic. But yeah, that's so interesting to hear the local British.
Oh yeah, that's valid. That's so valid. Yeah. My situation is similar, but I'm like twice removed because of Chris and his dad. So your dad introduced you to the Bee Gees version, and then you got into Steps, and then you introduced me to that. So like I'm removed in the family of Tragedy. Reach, for me, I grew up with that, but I was a kid. I gravitated toward it because I was juvenile, and it still kind of sounds like something I would hear with like Disney Junior or something like that. Like, this is a song, even though it has a great message, Joe, Bradley, John, the lead sounds so good, and then Paul takes the bridge home, and the video's adorable. The music video for Tragedy, I could go without. I mean, it fits because it's like the wedding thing. I remember when you first showed me, Chris, I was like, what the hell are those dreadfuls?
Oh, I love the video.
Oh
like, the video's great.
Right, I've grown to like it, but I remember he showed me, I was like, why does she have locks in her? I'm gonna let it go. So I listened to it, and the song itself, like, again, you have a canon like Claire in your roster, you let her open her mouth and let sounds come out. So when I heard it, I was like, hang on, I'm back in it. And honestly, it's like, even with my connection to Reach, at the end of the day, when something terrible has happened or something that's mildly scandalous takes place, the first thing I yelled is Tragedy with my hands up. So at this point, when it's become ubiquitous with my response to like weird things happening, when that happens, then I'm like, okay, then I must like this a little bit more. So for me, you don't want to Reach, Tragedy comes right back here to my head. So that's why I took it. Like,
that's like, it's the combination of the dance routines, like up there and then we go down.
Did you tell I dance?
She's a dancer.
It's so funny because we were having this discussion with someone recently. Our pop stars in the UK, Reach was one of the songs that was the audition that people had to audition with. So in the first few series, you could only sing one of a few songs. So Reach was the song you'd get all these aspiring singers doing operatic, really really dramatic versions of Reach, which made it slightly bizarre.
That's very bizarre.
I think so. To just like, the thing is with Tragedy is Steps were very, very lucky that it was so big, because I do think that they'd worked so hard over the course from 5, 6, 7, 8 to go to Last Thing on My Mind to One for Sorrow. And then in the UK, what's really interesting is that Tragedy was never, ever pushed as the main song of the double A side. Heartbeat was what they were performing on everything. They performed it on every TV show. The dance routine that they taught you wasn't Tragedy. It was just, we're going to bring our arms up and we're going to pat over the heart and then we push it away. And that's what they were. I remember it. And that was the dance. Like, and I remember it so vividly. And then the campaign shifted really dramatically because when the new year was coming in, I'm also right, Craig, because it was the end of 98 going into 99.
Yeah, it was the first number one of 99.
New Year's parties, Tragedy was what everybody was doing at those parties. So that's why it became. So it was almost a novelty song again, in the same way that 5, 6, 7, 8 was. So they're very lucky, I think, that they managed to keep the momentum of great music going. It's great live, but I, for one, am so thrilled that when they did Brighton Pride last year, they specifically did not end with it. They put it in the middle of the set list, and I put hand on heart, I think the set list they did at Brighton Pride is the best Steps set list they've ever done. Reach is better. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
sorry.
We're in deadlock again. So
we don't have to be. I mean,
has anyone changed their mind?
We don't have to be. He literally just said it. Everyone could see at the time, about 20-something years ago, that one song was amazing enough to be number one, but he keeps making the mistake of picking Reach. And I'm just saying, you two can just come over to our side, hands up.
No.
Come to the way. Come to the way.
Like, I adore Steps, but Reach is a better song because it is up there at the top of the S Club canon. Tragedy is genuinely, for most fans, I think, down at the bottom of their canon. I don't think I'm controversial for saying that.
No, I don't think so either.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Then it's going back to the public vote again then.
There you go.
Chantal's just told loads of people they're wrong, but that's absolutely fine.
Let's go. Come on.
I'm doing a Louis Walsh. Take it to deadlock. Here we go.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
I'm in absolute stitches. Oh, it's
amazing.
This makes it fun, though. So it makes it fun.
Okie dokie.
American perspective.
Right. So, Craig, where are we at with the scores at this end of this?
So at the end of the episode, not counting our deadlocks, we currently have. It's currently 2-1 to S Club. I did get that right, didn't I? Yeah, you're my number one.
Yeah, you did.
Bring it all back, and 1 for sorry. Okay, so S Club at the moment are in the lead, pending the results of our public vote.
That's amazing.
We've actually got like a whole call center just like in the back of my house. Like people like picking up the phones constantly. They're just now. Like, what's going on right now? It's live. Okay. There we go. So, well, that's the end of the first part of this fantastic pop-off crossover multiverse of madness of pop.
Madness.
This is insanity.
So join us next time where we'll go through rounds 6 to 10, which will be thrilling, of course. Craig.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I was totally in my own little world there, thinking about the next rounds. Okay, so don't forget you can follow us on social media. Everyone get ready with their handles. I've got loads. I am at Can't Stop Pop on X, and I'm Can't Stop _ the Pop on Instagram and TikTok. Matty?
Well, I'm Matt _Atkins9 on Instagram, and Matkins Actor on X, and Can't Stop the Pop. We also have 2 TikToks now, don't we? Because we have one for the website and we have one for the podcast. So we are branching out. So there is Can't Stop the Pop podcast and Can't Stop _the Pop on TikTok. That's our main social platform at the moment, I would say. And you can also check us out on YouTube at Can't Stop the Pop. Just search for Can't Stop the Pop. We'll appear. You can't miss it. What about you guys? Get your handles ready.
It's real simple. The handle is CCTV Pops on all socials. That's TikTok, X, Instagram, and whatever else comes out in the future. We are CCTV Pops with an S at the end. You will find us on there as well. I'm pretty active. Chris is pretty active. But yeah, join us, y'all. Join us. And also on YouTube. Come find us and watch our videos because we don't just talk about Steph's and S Club 7. But we do kind of sort of because we have full extensive episodes about them and their discographies. We've done album reviews, so definitely check out those episodes on our channel, which is also youtube.com/cctvpops.
I have nothing to add to that, but we will be hosting part 2 of this on our show, so definitely come over and check it out because I think there'll be more ties, right?
Ooh.
There'll be more ties, there'll be more arguments, there'll be more drama.
So many more
deadlocks, more public votes.
There you go.
Craig, we need to get better with our social. Like we're just all over the place. We are chaos. Like we are pop music chaos.
We have no consistency whatsoever. We're like, okay, we have a different handle on every single platform because that's really
just search for Can't Stop the Pop. We're on pretty much everything. Thank you so much for listening for part 1. Check out all the other episodes of this special Can't Stop the Pop versus CCTV the Nonstop Pop Show, Steps versus S Club Pop Off on all the usual podcast channels. And thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yay, bye.
Can't stop the pop.